All right, we back. Third shot at this thing, my brothers, my sisters, and we just gonna pick up where we left off this time. But let me introduce myself. I'm Brother Yagdai Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. The name of the broadcast is Let Your Light Shine. Title of today's teaching is The Feast of Weeks, part number 3 of part number 5. My brothers, we've been shut down. Been crashed 2 times now. So we are on the third reel, and hopefully this will be it. We can get through this last hour or so. My brothers, my sisters, my people. Once more again, I'm Brother Yagdai Israel from the fourth son of Jacob, whose name was changed to Israel. For questions or comments, we can be contacted by phone. The number is area code 331-312-4022. Once more again, that number is area code 331-312-4022. For questions or comments, we can also be contacted by way of our email. That email address is yhdhysrael@gmail.com. Once more again, that email address is yhdhysrael@gmail.com. We are simultaneously recording tonight on Facebook as well as YouTube. Our slotted time for the broadcast is on Tuesday. We come on roughly around 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Then we come back on Friday and do it all again from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. thereabout. But as you can see, tonight we are on part number 3 of part number 5, the Feast of Weeks. And we're going to get right back where we left off at, dealing with the name. For we will not be using the traditional name, the Lord God, Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Baal, Ashtaroth, Moloch, Shammuz, Kyrios, or Theos. But we will be using the 4 letters, which they call the Tetragrammaton, which we'll be using exclusively, which we pronounce Yahweh. That's how we pronounce it. Exodus 9, verse 16. And in very deed for this cause have I raised thee up, for to show in thee my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth, my brothers. So he's on record that he want his name declared throughout all the earth. He wanted from city to city, state to state, country to country, nation to nation, continent to continent. He want his name declared. That means spoken, put forth, brought forth throughout all the earth. And we just want to do our little part to make it happen. So that's why we always, before we endeavor, we let you know exactly who we rocking with. The 4 letters, Yo-Hey, Wah-Hey, or in the English alphabet, YHWH. That's who we rolling with, rocking with. Let's get us one more, then we're going to move on down the road. Let me see if I still got my, I guess they didn't, they left that alone, right? 1 Timothy 6, verse 1. There is many servants as are under the yoke, count their own master worthy of all honor, that the name of Yahweh and his doctrine be not blasphemed. So you want his name on the docket, front and center, as well as his teaching. Can't have one without the other. You got to have the name and the doctrine, my brothers, my sisters, my people. Now we're going to run this program like we always do. You know our format. We're going to bring forth a couple of clips. Then we're going to try to get in a little bit on this lesson tonight. The Feast of the Most High Yahweh. Now, here we go. Let me play me a song while I deal with the issue at hand. how will it be when I'm reading the righteous scriptures and the Most High Yahweh? He's in His Holy Spirit to lead and guide me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? Can you envision? Can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine a place where we can truly be free? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? I just let my imagination run free. There will be no more Jim Crow, that's for sure. Where landed will no longer be. There will be no more strange fruit hanging from the popular tree. You know the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Can you picture that? The road of Esau and Jacob, Israel, shall be reversed. Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you imagine a place where we can truly be free? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? I often envision about the kingdom of heaven. How will it be? I just let my imagination run free. There will be no more Jim Crow, that's for sure. Where landed will no longer be. There will be no more strange fruit hanging from the popular tree. You know the first will be last, and the last shall be first. Can you picture that? The road of Esau and Jacob, Israel, shall be reversed. Can you envision? Oh, I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be? Can you envision? I wonder, do you think? Can you envision? I wonder, can you see? Can you imagine how the kingdom of heaven will be?
I'm Judah. They call us African Americans today. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
I'm Benjamin. They call us West Indians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up
I'm
now.
Levi. They call us Haitians now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Ephraim. They call us Puerto Ricans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Manasseh. They call us Cubans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Simeon. They call us Dominicans now. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Zebulon. They call us Hondurans and Guatemalans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Gad. They call us Native Americans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Reuben. They call us Seminoles. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Asher. They call us Colombians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Issachar. They call us Mexicans. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now. I'm Naphtali. They call us Chileans and Argentinians. And Deuteronomy 28 fits us. We waking up now.
Imagine yourself cross established on the outskirts of where Greenwood had been. The Red Cross, to their credit, tried to help. They provided tents, some food, basic supplies, but they were overwhelmed. Thousands of homeless people with nothing. The Red Cross couldn't rebuild homes. They couldn't restore businesses. They couldn't bring back the dead. They could only provide minimal humanitarian aid to keep people alive. By mid-June, most Black Tulsans had been released from detention, though a few were held longer on various pretexts. But release didn't mean freedom. It meant being forced to live in tents in the ruins of your community, under the watchful eyes of the same authorities who had helped destroy it. It meant starting over with absolutely nothing. It meant living with trauma and fear and rage that had nowhere to go. And as if all this wasn't enough, the authorities and White Tulsa began rewriting history in real time, creating a narrative that would dominate for decades, a narrative that blamed the victims for their own destruction. In the first hours and days after the massacre, some truthful reporting occurred. The Tulsa Tribune and the Tulsa World, the city's two main newspapers, initially described the events with some accuracy. They reported that white mobs had attacked Greenwood. They described the destruction. Some early accounts even acknowledged that Black Tulsans had been defending themselves and their property. But very quickly, the narrative began to shift. By June 2nd, just 2 days after the massacre began, newspaper articles were starting to use different language. It was no longer an attack on Greenwood. It was a race riot. The implication being that both sides were equally responsible, that this was chaotic violence rather than organized destruction. Then the language shifted further. It became a Negro uprising. Stories began emphasizing the confrontation at the courthouse, presenting it as black aggression against white authorities. The context, that a lynch mob of 10,000 white men had gathered to murder a black teenager based on a false accusation was minimized or omitted entirely. Dick Rowland's alleged assault on Sarah Page was reported as fact, even though no evidence supported it, and Sarah Page herself refused to press charges. White Tulsa needed a narrative that justified what had happened. They couldn't say, "We destroyed a prosperous black community because we were jealous and racist." They needed a story where white Tulsans were defending themselves, where black Tulsans were dangerous aggressors, where the destruction of Greenwood was regrettable but necessary. So that's the story they created. The Tulsa County Grand Jury convened on June 8th to investigate the events. Notice the speed, just 8 days after the massacre. Compare that to the decades it would take to conduct a thorough investigation. The grand jury was composed entirely of white men. No black Tulsans were allowed to serve. The proceedings were not open to the public. The grand jury's report, issued on June 25th, was a masterclass in victim blaming. The report concluded that the riot was caused by certain bad Negroes. It specifically blamed black Tulsans for going to the courthouse armed, calling this act the direct cause of all that followed. The report praised the white citizens who responded to the call of duty to stop the uprising. Read that again. The grand jury praised the white mob that destroyed Greenwood. The people who murdered, burned, and looted were described as responding to the call of duty. The black Tulsans who tried to defend themselves and their community were blamed for causing the violence. The report recommended that several black community leaders be prosecuted for inciting the riot. A.J. Smitherman, the newspaper editor who had written against lynching, was indicted. J.B. Stratford, the hotel owner, was indicted. Other prominent black Tulsans were targeted for prosecution. The message was clear. Black leadership, black pride, black success, all of it was dangerous and would be punished. Dick Rowland, whose alleged assault started everything, was quietly released. Sarah Page refused to testify against him. The prosecutor, realizing there was no evidence and that a trial would expose the lie that justified the massacre, dropped the charges. Rowland left Tulsa and never returned. Sarah Page also disappeared from public record. Neither of them wanted any part of the story that had destroyed an entire community. Meanwhile, not a single white person was indicted for the violence. Not one. Despite thousands of witnesses. Despite photographs showing white men with guns and looted goods. Despite known murders, arson and theft. Zero prosecutions. The legal system had decided that destroying Black Wall Street was not a crime. A.J. Smitherman, facing indictment and death threats, fled Oklahoma. He eventually settled in Massachusetts, where he continued his journalism career. J.B. Stratford also fled, first to Kansas and then to Chicago. He died in 1935, never returning to Tulsa. His criminal record from the 1921 indictment wasn't cleared until 1996, 75 years later, long after his death. Other black leaders left Oklahoma, taking their talents and wealth to other states. Brain drain on a massive scale. Now let's talk about the insurance situation, because this is where the economic destruction became permanent. Black Tulsans had insurance on their homes and businesses. They'd been responsible property owners, paying premiums, following the rules. When their properties were destroyed, they filed claims. Every single claim was denied. The insurance companies pointed to clauses in policies that excluded coverage for riot or insurrection. Since the grand jury had declared this a riot, the exclusions applied. Never mind that it wasn't a riot in any meaningful sense. It was an organized attack with government participation. Never mind that black property owners had paid premiums specifically for protection against loss. The insurance companies refused to pay a single dollar. Black Tulsans sued. The cases went to Oklahoma courts. The courts sided with the insurance companies. Every time. The legal reasoning was circular. It was declared a riot. Policies exclude riots. Therefore, no coverage. The fact that calling it a riot was itself part of the cover-up didn't matter to the courts. The message was clear. The system would not help black Tulsans recover. Think about what this meant economically. The estimated property damage was $1.5 to $2 million in 1921 dollars, roughly $27 to $35 million today. That's the immediate loss. But insurance exists precisely to help people rebuild after disasters. Without insurance payouts, most Black Tulsans had no capital to rebuild. They'd lost everything and had no way to recover. Some families left Tulsa for good, joining the Great Migration to northern cities, where they hoped for better treatment. Others stayed, but could only afford to rebuild modest homes, nothing like what they'd lost. The businesses that had made Greenwood prosperous? Most never reopened. The doctors, lawyers, and entrepreneurs. Many left for cities where their work wouldn't be destroyed overnight. The city of Tulsa offered no compensation, no relief fund, no rebuilding assistance, nothing. In fact, the city did the opposite. Within weeks of the massacre, the Tulsa City Commission passed a new fire code requiring that any buildings in the burned district be constructed with fire-resistant materials, brick or concrete rather than wood. This sounds reasonable until you realize the cost. Building with fire-resistant materials was far more expensive. Most Black Tulsans who'd lost everything couldn't afford it. This was a deliberate attempt to prevent Greenwood from being rebuilt. If Black Tulsans couldn't afford to rebuild to code, their land could be seized or purchased cheaply by white developers. Some white Tulsans saw this as an opportunity. Prime real estate near downtown suddenly available. Black property owners sued to block the fire code, arguing it was discriminatory and designed to force them out. In one of the few legal victories, the Oklahoma Supreme Court struck down the fire code in 1922. But by then, the damage was done. Many Black families had already sold their property at fire sale prices, convinced they could never rebuild. Those who did rebuild faced enormous challenges. They had to